I could tell when I was outgunned. It was time to take another beating. The mystery witch was a real barracuda. Trouble on dagger heels, a smoking assault rifle in her hand, and an army of killer suits behind her.
How sweet. I get to kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi. So Max says, I could tell when I was outgunned. He believed that he's going to be captured. You have all these guys. It's the same, fat guy in the weird sunglasses. in the suit. And he says, the mystery witch, okay, she's a witch, was a real barracuda. Like a fish with sharp teeth. Trouble on dagger heels. So she has heels that are like daggers. She's very deadly and dangerous. Smoking assault rifle in her hand. It's actually not an assault rifle. That's like I don't know. It looks like an Uzi, but it's supposed to be a assault rifle. And there's a guy over here who has an Uzi as well. And this guy has an assault rifle. And this guy has an assault rifle. So kind of messed up there, guys. But who knows how many props they had. No, but they had a prop for this guy. Why didn't they have, And he says an army of killer suits behind her. So she's this lady in black, deadly looking. You know she's gonna kill you. And she has a whole bunch of goons, she has an army behind her. So this is like a lady of death, but she's actually beyond hell. I don't know, maybe she is hell, but she's something beyond it. Pure, utter feminine chaos. And she says, how sweet. I get to kill two birds with one stone. She's like, alright, so I gotta kill the devil and death at the same time. And she is supposed to be the tower. She's in charge of the Isaac Corporation after all.
Sooner or later, it was going to catch up with you.
Mr. Payne, it's time to show you the benefits of my brew. Be a good boy now.
You'd find that Lady Luck was really a hooker. You were fresh out of cash.
Alright, so now he gets stung by the Valkyr drug. Again. So before he drank it from a supposed witch, Mona, and now this new witch has her brew, the benefits of her brew, and she injects him with it. She's more direct. She puts it straight into his bloodstream. And he says, you find out that Lady Luck was really a hooker. And he's saying that Lady Luck, or something similar to the Lady of Fate, is actually something that wants payment for a weakness that you have, and you're out of money. It's like you don't have any money, you have to pay with flesh or soul or something that's very more personal than this money. So when he says Lady Luck was really a hooker, that's a really great way of explaining this whole situation in this existentialist way, where he thought that fate was something that you just kind of follow. No, you have to pay for it as well, and he doesn't have a way to pay for it other than his sanity now. Now he's going to go insane because of this baru that comes from this witch. So, it's all amazing. I love how, this is Nicole Horn, by the way. I love how Nicole Horn is a woman in charge of a corporation and is the one making the brew. It works out beautifully. Anything else would make it terrible. I don't think that a guy would be as appropriate for this kind of, drug that's being made. Like, women and drug go well together. Guys and drugs, it's like, they're just the ones who sell it. The whole postmodernist, what's his name? Walter White thing, that's a different kind of theme. It can't be the same as this. His is not really a noir theme. This is, women and drugs. Beautiful, works well together. Women and drugs go together like witches and cauldron brews, So it's great.
Gentlemen, we're done here. Take me to Cold Steel.
She had just given me an OD of Valkyr. I could feel green fire eating my brains. They turned to steam. They did a fade on me. I'd never had a chance. The witch had got me just as sure as if she put a gun to my head and pulled the trigger.
That's great. I love that. Now he's like, the whole world's getting warped. So she's like, we're done here. Take me to Cold Steel. And Cold Steel is a place that he realizes, oh, that's an actual place. But she thought that he was going to die from an OD. Nope, not this guy. He's had drugs before. This isn't his first rodeo. He knows his way way around the painkillers. So he says, she just had given me an OD of Valkyr. I could feel my I could feel my brain turning green. Now he says, I could feel green fire eating my brains. Green fire is a highly unnatural kind of fire, but it's a fire of nature because it's green. Green is of nature. And women are supposed to be symbols for Mother Earth. you know, the Earth Mother. So nature, green, women, it works. It's wonderful when it comes into like a noir thing. That's also kind of why, what's her name from Gone with the Wind? You know, she wore a lot of green to supposedly make her eyes green, but having a woman wear green looks beautiful as like an Earth Mother kind of sort, you know, Celtic in that way, nature and all that romanticism. So it says they turned to steam. They did a fade on me. I had never had a chance. So his brains are just so he's like, my brain's gone. Now I'm gonna go into this nightmare world again, but even worse than before. And boy, is it worse because I get stuck to the ground.
The shadows rushed me, bruised mugshot faces hungry for revenge. They knew my weak spots and closed in for the kill. The floor turned into a vortex of green blood. I fell.
Alright, so now he's falling into this vortex. This green vortex, a void, chaos, caused by nature. Nature in the way that a drug is related to nature. So it says, the shadows rushed me, bruised mugshot faces, hungry for revenge. So he's like, all of the things that I've done, all the people that I've killed, they're coming back up. Damage I've done has come back to haunt me, ready for revenge. They knew my weak spots and closed in for the kill. And so all these shadows around him are the things that he's killed and the things that he's done, the things that he's caused damage to. And it's like, now they're back. And this is very similar to a Draugr from Norse mythology, the zombie from the water. And I don't know, come on, there should have been zombies in the nightmare missions. Come on. If you're gonna make a remake, put in some zombies, put in some Draugrs. Green blood was the green blood of the devil, the demon. What's his face was talking about it earlier. Jack Lupino, he was talking about the green blood of the devil. Devil's green blood. So it's like, now the bit of the devil is inside of Max. The green blood of the devil is in Max, in his veins now. He has become synergized with the devil. The devil, Don Puccinello, is dead. Now Max has to face the devil within his own mind. And that's like, oh, really? That's great. That's beautiful. That's what I've always wanted. I always wanted to face the devil in my own brain. And that's where he's gonna meet the devil, his own shadow. And I think you have to fight Shadow Max, which it should have been a better mission. Like it should have been so much bigger, but it's like a really quick, like, you'll see. Alright, so now we're in the office. He's wounded. He's having trouble walking. There's all these candles here. These candles are in relation to the Ragnarok Club. There's a toll in the background. Dong dong, you can hear it when I'm not talking. But that is in relation to the Ragnarok Club. The bells are tolling. Max is dying. He OD'd and... See, there's a tattoo on the wall.
Who's there? Max?
Max isn't here right now, Mrs. Torrance.
Broken mirror with blood on it. Not really sure what that means, but I cannot see my reflection. Candle up in the closet. That symbolizes Max's homosexuality, I bet. Hallway curves like a dick.
Max?
Wife calling out to him.
Where are you, Max? Please.
Wife was crying. This is a pretty nice living room, like the one in Married with Children. Now Max is widowed with trauma. Ooh, look at that. Look at the green that comes from behind the stairs.
No, please, Max, no. I'm sorry. Please don't, Max, no. Please.
Max blames himself for their deaths. Every time I see this crib, I think of Uncle Paul. They don't make these cribs for two people anymore. A newspaper wall I can't interact with. Ooh, bloody door.
Max? Where are you, Max? Please.
Now it's on fire.
The letter was staring at me. There was something disturbingly familiar about the letter before me. The handwriting was all pretty curves.
You're in a graphic novel.
The truth split my skull open, a glaring green light washing the lies away. All of my past was just fragmented still shots, words hanging in the air like balloons. I was in a graphic novel. Funny as hell. It was the most horrible thing I could think of.
Alright, so this is when the game went full like meta, and you see Max struggling to read with one eye, and he's like, there's a letter from my wife. Pretty curves is like what his wife writes in feminine, and she says, you're in a graphic novel. He's like, oh god, that's like the worst thing I can think of. You know, being controlled by somebody else the whole time. And it shows all the like bubbles and stuff. It's like, that's a very horrifying thing to think of. So he enters an even further existential crisis, like, am I even real? So whether this is meant to be part of the game or just a, you know, like a cute joke, There's somebody, I don't know who it was, but there's a guy like a long time ago I saw a video of, and he tried to explain why Max Payne 3 wasn't stupid. And there's a part in Max Payne 3 where you have Max kind of like take control of himself, and he doesn't really do much. He just gets like thrown around and ragdolls, and you know, he shaved his head and he tried to like do things his own way. And then after that, he just completely fails like for like 10 minutes. It's like the most boring part of the game. And then after that, you end up into a shootout because now you get to take control of the whole situation again. And I thought that was like a decent way to explain why that part was so terrible, but that doesn't mean it's good. It's like just because you're self-aware that you wrote a horrible moment doesn't mean that makes a moment good. It's like when people go, oh, I meant to make my character hateable. It's like, yeah, but you're supposed to make us like to hate them, not just hate them. Like, just because you're aware of it doesn't mean it's good now. I meant to write stupid things. It's like, all right, that doesn't mean it's good now. So this part, if anything, I just take it as like a nice little joke, but then like an existential crisis, because it's like he's dealing with things that aren't supposed to be understood. He can't really understand like why his life would be a graphic novel. The idea of somebody else controlling his life and writing his life is a terrible thing to realize. So having a character kind of like be self-aware of the fourth wall breaks, that's part of the existential crisis in noir. And postmodernist stories are trying to do that now more often. I remember there was like a weird thing going on in that movie Army of the Dead, and they had like this guy saying like, what if we're actually like just supposed to die over and over again? It's like, that didn't happen in the movie. They went nowhere with that. This one's actually like consistent because, you know, you're in a dream state. But yeah, if you're gonna repeat this, keep this part. It's fun. Answer the phone.
Bartender is shiny stuff, and dreams are made of stooped necromancers. He sings like a banana wrist, having strayed too close to the constellations on their shaved skulls. It was a bad line in a prank call. Someone spouting insane babble. I couldn't make sense of it. But I had an overwhelming sense of deja vu. The caller's voice sounded oddly familiar.
So, I like this part. We should have more parts like this, or maybe just have it go on for longer, because, like, it's just a bunch of nonsense. Stooped necromancers, banana wrists, close to the constellations, on shaved skulls, rain of frogs ended, rain of blood comes down, and then it'll be gone, the whole something, an image, riding the bar, taste of those tentacles. Like, there's all this crazy stuff being said, but if you look at it for a second, just on the parts that you can, like, actually see, there's almost like a theme going on in that rambling. And for anything, for what it's worth, I believe he is rambling on about an apocalypse, because there's a rain of frogs ended and rain of blood comes down. And that's pretty much what happens in an apocalypse. The plagues of Egypt. That pretty much happens. There's frogs, and then there's blood, and then he also adds in taste of those tentacles, and it's like, oh, where does that come from? I'm thinking that's like a cosmic Lovecraftian thing. So he's trying to bring in like all these occult books in Ragnarok, and you're surrounded by fire, you have candles around you, you answer the phone, and the phone is meant to resemble like a modernism thing, like a modernity entering into your life. So once modernity came in, then that's when the phone allows for the wackiness, the absurdity of life to be brought to you. So modernity allows you to see the wackiness, the absurdity of life. And this is supposed to be absurd, but it still kind of makes sense. And then there's something I didn't realize until just now. The phone turned into a gun in his hand. You see that? It's kind of hard to see with like the way it's drawn, but he's looking at the phone and he looks down at the gun. He's like, wait a minute, I thought this was like a phone, but no, it's a gun. And he held the gun up to his ear. So the gun, the symbol for modernity and his like, you know, diesel kind of lifestyle, the big city and all of that, civilization is bringing forth this destruction that comes out of his hands, and also this insanity, but the apocalyptic insanity that he hears through the phone. So in other words, because of his modern lifestyle, he is encountering all this insanity. He's going insane because of modernity, not because of something else. The nature of everything, his traditional lifestyle of having a wife and kid, that had nothing to do with insanity. The insanity comes with everything after that, which is also kind of why it's the main reason why his wife was killed in the first place, because of this like insane world that he lives in. So he's trying to stay sane in his little bubble. Insanity comes through the gun and the phone. Make sense? Yep. So now like 3 different levels are combining. Piece of paper again.
The weird piece of paper looked dangerous. There was something disturbingly familiar about the letter before me. The handwriting was all pretty curves.
You're in a computer game, Max.
The truth was a burning green crack through my brain, weapon statistics hanging in the air, glimpsed out of the corner of my eye, endless repetition of the act of shooting, time slowing down to show off my moves, the paranoid feel of someone controlling my every step. I was in a computer game. Funny as hell, it was the most horrible thing I could think of.
So, I love how it just repeats it, but now he's saying, oh, you're in a computer game as well. So I was like, you're not only in a graphic novel, now you're also in a computer game. And he's like, oh crap, that's the worst thing I can think of. Somebody else controlling me, that's even worse. It's like, at least somebody could care for me in the graphic novel because they want the novel to continue. Computer game is like a horrible idea because you can have some average Joe who has no idea what they're doing, get me killed over and over again. And that's actually like a horrible thought. It's like, just imagine somebody else is controlling you. This is like an idea that I always see in things like what was that show called? Black Mirror. There's that one episode where a character was like, her DNA was turned into like a computer game data, and then this guy was like using them in the computer game as like sex slaves or something. It was a dumb thing. I don't like it really. I like the idea of like a computer game or a character becoming self-aware. It's a great concept. We should have more of that in like the Matrix kind of way. It's like, hey, you're waking up in the Matrix. And there's probably the Matrix involved in this too. It's like, oh, there's something beyond my world that I'm stuck in. But I don't know why, but when people do it in a postmodernist way, especially now, it's just ugh. But this way, it's actually pretty good. They didn't make it the whole game. They just have this one moment in a dream, making it seem like he's going insane. So it makes sense when he's going insane like this. Whether you want to believe that this is the real world for him and that he's actually realizing a reality, that's fine, but it's better just to say, nah, he's just kind of going crazy. And this is just the creators having fun. Answer the phone again.
Don't lose it. It's Valk here. The drug. Snap out of it. Try to remember. It was a bad line in a prank call. Someone spouting insane babble. I couldn't make sense of it. But I had an overwhelming sense of deja vu, and the caller's voice sounded oddly familiar.
I love the fact that they repeated it. It doesn't look lazy, it looks great, because this is a repeating over and over again. So if he's babbling on about an apocalypse, he's like, I can't make sense of it. If the person says, it's Valkyr, the drug, try to remember, he can't make sense of that either. So the drug is, like, no matter how clear you want to make a message to him, he's too drugged out. He's like, I don't know what he's talking about. So Max is under the influence of the drug. It's too much for him. Whether you're cogent or incoherent, he can't understand it. The drug is too much for his brain to comprehend right now. Alright, now we're back in the house. Now that part's clogged. Oh, the baby room again. But the baby room is combined with the living room. And the couch is glitching.
Yay! I love what you've done with the place. It looks so cozy.
And now the second floor is mixed with the Ragnarok.
Ragnarok-a-bye, baby, when I'm on top. I'm sorry.
Oh no. And now my favorite part where I had to wander through these blood trails.
That's how the police found me at the kindergarten. Oh, they're so clever.
Do I like these platforming moments? Yes, way better than the third game. We should bring back platforming, make DSP stuck with crouch jumps again. That'll be great. Yes. Barely. Every time I land, Max acts like as if he fell in a vat of mashed potatoes. Whoever made these jumps, you are a rapscallion. You're a sadistic son of a bitch. Probably some guy named Billy. I guess we gotta go down here. I honestly have no idea where I'm going. These drops are to ensure you don't backtrack all the way, so I take back my sadistic comment. But he's still probably named Billy. I was in my igloo eating some stew and the ketchup bottle fell down. Yo!
blessed with the brilliant idea to make a broadcast level for everyone to despise without passion. The pool run down his leg when he just jumps every time, what funny.
Cheese, cheesesteak chili fries, garlic bread jambalaya, meatloaf.
Okay. I have to jump backwards. Isn't this fun? Let me guess, dead end? Yep. Who did that scream? That was great. Just to be clear though, if I had a dream like this where I'm walking along blood trails and then I hear like this horrible blood-curdling scream when I go to a dead end, I'd be pretty afraid. Dead end again. Yep. Someone's like, I would like to do the Wilhelm scream IRL. Okay, so I guess I'm getting closer to the baby, because like a million baby screams now. Yep. A little bit easier to travel this way with jumping.
Now that I think of it, that's literally just a Tom and Jerry scream. Making the goal a crib makes sense though. It's a rebirth type of symbol. Constructed rebirth, something born in blood, his new life of constant killing. I'm gonna suck my own dick in celebration if I get out of here.
Up. This is the area, this is the area. This is the way out. I found it. I'm so excited. Oh no! Now I'm stuck to the ground again. Wait, let's see. Wait 2 seconds. 1, 2, okay. Hey, it worked. I'm coming, Michelle. Quit belly aching. Alright, there's the crib. There's one more jump, and I can make it. There's one. Oh my goodness.
Why does the last jump have to be the most stuck? Why couldn't it be the first damn jump? It's like they intentionally programmed it to be broken right here.
Okay, let's just wait for it. 2, 1, 2. Nope, that didn't work. Jump backwards? Alright everybody, so guess what? Thankfully I did save something that was right after this moment, because out of some miracle happened, and I was able to get unstuck for 1 split second by jumping backwards, and then I got to the thing and then it was fine. So I'm going to skip forward to when I do get to this thing, but you're going to see something get skipped. So it's going to be a skip, and it's going to be where Max Payne is shooting at his shadow self, alright? And the only thing that happens is that Max says, "Murderer, you killed her," okay? That's the only thing that happens. That's the only thing that you're going to be missing, alright? So you're not missing much. So I'm going to skip it.
You killed her!
Alright, so that's old Max, and this is the new Max killing the old Max.
It's been revoked.
And now the new Max is looking over his dead wife, laying on the bed.
Welp unzips pants.
Max, something happened at the office today. A strange memo. Something about Vikings.
Honey, I gotta run. You can tell me all about it this evening.
Have a nice day, darling.
The bullet holes were rubies on her chest, blood glowing on her ivory skin. She was so beautiful. The killer was smiling. The flesh of fallen angels.
So Max believes that he killed his own wife by ignoring her message about something happening at the office, and there's a strange memo about Vikings. That's the whole Valkyr thing, the Valkyr project. And that's why she says, "Oh, something about Vikings, I'm not really sure." He's like, no, don't bother me, I gotta go to work. And this is the day where she got killed, because she found out about the whole Valkyr thing. She wasn't supposed to, but she did. Remember, she works for the government as well. And so while he's hugging her, She has bullet holes on her chest, and they were rubies, some kind of jewel, something of value. Blood glowing on her ivory skin. So her skin is very pale, and ivory, very valuable, something valuable to him. And then he says she was so beautiful. Was, meaning that she's already dead in his understanding. And then he says the killer was smiling, the flesh of fallen angels. So the killer, the shadow self within him, is this monstrous being that he has inside of him, this shadow, this personification of everything evil that he couldn't even consciously imagine, but it's within him. It's something that he's capable of doing. And this is what he blames for the death of his wife and his child. In both nightmares, he blames himself. So when he says, "Murderer, you killed her," he's blaming his past self. And so when you kill the past self, you create this new self that is the only thing remaining. And this is the new Max, the one wearing the Ace Ventura getup. And the old self is meant to be this evil deity in his mind. So he's like, I'm not like that anymore. I've killed the old self. Now I'm my new self. And this is Max's first death. The death of his previous self, the family man, the ethical lifestyle. He's removed his ethical lifestyle because he believed his ethical style is what killed his wife. So he keeps on flipping between ethical, aesthetic, and religious. And that's the whole point of the journey, is that you're trying to figure out which one's the correct one. But here he's removing the ethical, because ethically he ignored his wife, and then that's what got her killed, because he believed that ethically it was more important to go to work than to listen to her. He didn't know. I believe that's the end of the nightmare level, so thank you for struggling with me.